gon' change. I feel the God things ain't gon' change. I keep a revolver with your name. I keep a revolver with your name, just in case.
Peace, world. This is your boy, Bless the Party Sparker, here to talk to you about the Computer Store in Conyers, Georgia, the #1 authorized Apple service provider and dealer east of Atlanta. With over a decade of repair and service on Apple as well as PC, the Computer Store has the remedy for your sick machine. Whether you need help with virus removal, upgrades, or warranty services, the Computer Store does it all. Believe me, they are a godsend, and I have a computer-based business. So remember, this is your boy Bless the Party Sparker telling you to join the world of Across the Fader, but to do that, you have to get your computer right. And to get your computer right, you have to go to the Computer Store. Located 875 Flat Shoals Road, Southeast, Suite 190, Conyers, Georgia, 30094. To contact them, call them at 770-679-1859 and tell them Across the Fader. You are now entering another dimension, a dimension of sight and sound, a dimension of hot beats and dope lyrics, a dimension where fat laces and Kangos meet skinny jeans and swag. You are now entering the hip hop zone.
For you. Let's talk right. What folk on? Come on, tell it to the south side. No. East, southwest. What up, yes. Yo? Right. What you say? Hop well. Right. Yeah. Come on. Oh, glow, what? Yeah. All over the globe. Yeah. Just put it out, you know? Right. Yeah. Come on. Show now. Do this like we supposed to do. Bravo DC. Going straight up. No Homeland Security. I'm in my zone. It's real hip hop. The hip hop zone. Put it together. Let's go. Either I'ma get it or I'ma die trying. Either I start with the truth or I begin a line. Either I shop them records or I start buying. Get your money right, rapper nigga, stop crying. Either you charter your course and you start flying, or you stay ground level, then you're co-signing. Either you're headlining or you're sidelining. You're either front page news or back page rhyming. Lab made or real diamond. Either you're dull or you're shining. Either that's lyrical skill or you're just rhyming. You're clean or just rhyming. Either you're Fantasia Barrino or Phyllis Hyman. Either you're Babyface Edmonds or Frankie Lyman. Either you're great like them or great like we, or either you're unsuccessful and not like me. Either you're getting it good or broke like G. If the shoes don't fit, Playboy, just let it be. Real talk for you. Yeah, I'm just talking to them, you know? Right? Lay the game down flat. All around the hip-hop industry, yours truly, Sammy Bravo. Yes. Homeland Security, real talk for you. Yeah. None of that. It's all of that. It's that real for you. Yeah, I'ma holler at him. Let me holler at him a little bit. Let me back a little table. Complicated or it make good sense. Either you live or you die for dead presidents. Either you're safe or you're a prisoner in your residence. Either you're bought at full price or you cop defense. Whatever be, either you love it or you're hating it. Either you stop achieving or you're making it. Ain't no mistaking it. Either you're fronting or you're backed up. Either you're playing with little dough or you're stacked up. Either you're old dirty bastard or you're young buck. Either you really, really care or you don't give a fuck. Either you're riding drop top or box top truck. Either you come from the streets or you're hood struck. It ain't a thing, either you're real or you're faking it. Either you're fixing it up or you're breaking it. Either you carry out kid or you're breaking it. Or either you're standing still or you're shaking it. It's real talk for you. Yes. Let me talk to him. It's what I do. It's what we do. Gonna see the young gun. What, young Don? Yeah. Tony Brasco. Yeah. OG Fuego. Yeah. Bruce Wayne. Yeah. Jabba Joe one time. Let's go. go. Either you get it or you don't prove it. Either you play for it all or you don't lose it. Either you sell it multi-platinum or you don't move it. Either you have no talent or you don't use it. Listen to me, either you got it or you're getting it. Either you're Michael Jordan flow or Scott Pippen it. Either your music a hit or you're missing it. Either they love you forever or they dissing it. It's all the same, either you sit down or stand up. Either you're down your crew or you pick your mans up. Either you're progressing the game or you're jammed up. Either you do the shooting or get planned up. Into your luck, real talk for you. Right? That's all it is, real talk for you. I had too much else to say. So lay it down flat, like I said. Let's go. Yeah, till we touch the monument ceiling. Right? Definitely put up the buildings, Homeland Security. You know. Sammy Bravo, yeah. Yours truly, Sammy Bravo, a.k.a. Uncle Scrooge, a.k.a. the Boy Giga, a.k.a. DC Dope Boy, a.k.a. the Don and Don, a.k.a. Ride the Lives. What? Right. Yeah, tell them I'm definitely getting up now. Shit, I'm in my zone, the hip-hop zone. Yeah, SammyBravo.com. My space, your space, your space, my space. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's all about the Benjamins, baby.
Yeah.
It's all about the Benjamins, baby.
Now, what y'all wanna do? Wanna be ballers, shot callers, brawlers, who be dipping in the bins with the spoilers. On the low from the Jake and the Taurus, trying to get my hands on some grants like Horace. Yeah, living the raw deal. 3-course meal, spaghetti, fettuccine, and veal. But still, everything's real in the field. And what you can't have now, leave when you will. But don't knock me for trying to bury 7 zeros over in Rio de Janeiro. Ain't nobody's hero, but I wanna be heard on your hot 9-7 every day. That's my word. And women with their own condominiums. Fives who drive millenniums. About the Benjamins, what? I get a 50-pound bag for the mutts. 5 carats on my hands with the cuts. And something European chromed out with the clutch. Bro, what?
Drinking more liquor, driving a broke bigger. I'm with mo sippers, watched by gold diggers. Rocking Bajor denims with gold zippers. Lost your touch, we kept ours. Popping crystals, freaking the 3-quarter reptiles. Enormous cream, forest green. Benz G for my team, so while you sleep, I'm a scheme. You see through, so why nobody never gonna believe you. You should do what we do, stack chips like. Don't let the melody intrigue you, cause I leave you. I'm only here for that green paper with
I'm
the
strictly
eagle.
trying to cop those colossal size Picassos and have poppy tip outside those gastos. The end up with cash flowing like Sosa and the Latin chick transporting in the bush. Stampeding over pop modes, never sober. Flexing Range Rovers, dealing weight by Minnesota. Avoiding arcs with camcorders and Chevy Novas. Stash in the building with this chick named Alona from Daytona. When I was young, I want the boner, but now I only hit chicks who win beauty pageants, tricking and taking me skiing at the Aspens. Gangsta mental, stay popping twist style, pack a black pistol in the act coupe that's dark brown. Pinky ringing, gondolas with the man singing. Italian music down the river with your chick clinging to my bizzos. Player, you mad fools, acting hard when you was as RuPaul's.
Come on.
It's all about the Benjamins, baby.
Yeah.
It's all about the Benjamins, baby.
Yeah.
It's all about the Benjamins, baby.
Yeah.
It's all about the Benjamins, baby.
Now,
It's all about the
what y'all wanna
Benjamins,
do?
baby.
Wanna be
It's all about the
ballers,
Benjamins,
shot callers,
baby.
brawlers,
It's all about
who be
the
dipping in the
Benjamins,
bins with the
baby.
spoilers.
It's all about
On the
the
low from the
Benjamins,
Jake
baby.
and the Taurus.
Wanna rumble with the B, huh? Throw a hex
Yeah.
on the whole family.
Yeah.
Dressed in all black like the omen.
Say-
Have your friends singing, this is for my homie. And you know me for making it so sick. Lost in my 6 with the Lex on the wrist. If it's murder, you know she wrote it. German Ruger for your deep throated. Know you wanna feel the room, cause it's platinum coated. Take your pick, got a firearm, you should've told it. All that kick, player hating from the sideline. Get your own why you riding mine? I'm a good fella, kinda late. Stash the 80s in Mercedes. Puffy, hold me down, baby. Only female in my crew, then I kick you.
Come on.
I've been had skills, crystal spill, hot bills in Brazil. About a mill of ice grill, make it hard to figure me. Be kicking me in my hole, undercover, Donnie Brasco. That's my East Coast girl, the Bentley, the twirl. My West Coast shorty, push the chrome 740, rockin' red man and naughty. Oh, with my kitty cat, half a brick of yay, in the bra with her titties at. And I'm living that whole life, we push weight. State pen, holes in Penn State. Listen close, it's Francis, the praying mantis. Attack with the Mac, my left hand spit, right hand grip on the whip for the smooth getaway. Player haters, get away, on my lead will spray. Squeeze off till I'm empty, don't tempt me. Only to hell I send thee, all about the Benjis. Why?
Benjamins, baby. It's all about the 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 Benjamins, baby. It's all
They're cool with GJ the Red Alert. I'm not doing it. They doing it across the fader. They doing it all across the fader.com.
Hip Hop Zone Radio, this is your man, Bless the Party Sparker. What's hood? Big shout out to my man, Jada Pro. You know what I'm saying? He'll be joining us shortly. This is Wealth Wednesdays right here on Hip Hop Zone Radio, Power 357radio.com, across the fader.com. You know what Wealth Wednesdays is about. Shout out to everybody that's listening in virtually. Shout out to everybody on Zoom today. You know what I'm saying? I feel like a stranger in my own house. There's a bunch of y'all. What's good, y'all? We got a bunch of brothers in here, got a bunch of people in here. You know what I'm saying? It's good to see some people back. You know what I'm saying? Good to see some new heads. What's good? You know what I mean? But shout out to everybody that's listening virtually, actually listening over the radio, and also the cast that are on Zoom with us. This is Wealth Wednesday once again. We talk about building wealth, maintaining wealth, and all of that good stuff. It's not always financial though, and we keep saying this. If you've heard us before, you know we're not always speaking wealth in a financial sense. You know what I'm saying? Wealth can be, you know, spiritual. It could be communal. It could be, you know, health. There's a lot of areas where you can be wealthy. Today we focusing more on community wealth, because that's one thing our community is missing out on a lot, or missing a lot of. So that being said,
word.
Thank you. I needed that.
I just wanted to be P. Diddy and do all the, like, you know, word.
Or the ad libs. That's what's up. So, real quick, I'm going to introduce the topic. Then I'm going to have everybody that's on, you know what I'm saying, just introduce themselves and just say where they at right now. You know what I mean? So, topic of the day: what needs to be done in order to rebuild our community? What needs to be done in order to rebuild our community?
We talking the black community, correct?
Yeah, we talking the black community. So that being said, before we go into it, let's get some introductions going. We got Sean Skerritt. What up, Sean? He a regular now.
What up there?
What's going on? Where you at, Sean?
I'm down in Columbus, Georgia in the meantime.
Shout out to Columbus, Georgia. That's good. What's going on, man? Shout out to Kevin Clark. We got Kevin Clark in the building. Hey, Kevin, where you at, bro?
DC.
You in DC?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I feel bad for you, bro. Nah, I'm just bugging. Shout out to all my heads, all my DMV heads. You know what I mean? Good seeing you, bro. Good seeing you. Furious Styles, where you at?
I'm in Bayville, New York.
Bayville, New York. That's not even New York, New York. That's just Bayville.
It's Long Island, man.
Shout out to Long Island, Strong Island. What up? Bro Pete, where you at?
I'm in the DMV, as you know.
Yeah, we already know that. Ain't nothing different.
Ain't nothing changed.
Ibn Abdullah, what's going on, homie? We ain't seen you for a minute.
What's good, fam? How you feeling?
Chilling, man. Ibn could be anywhere.
I know he found a big bag of money he ain't tried to tell nobody about.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he's scared we're going to try to help him count it.
No, I'm in San Diego right now. I'm in San Diego.
All right, shout out San Diego.
Good to see you, bro.
Word up. Jada Pro, what up? I think he's still connecting. He's still connecting. Okay. R.I.P. Old 30 Bastard, and I love Wu-Tang. This is the first person to go into. Where you
where
at?
I am. Okay, where am I? I'm in a witness protection program. Just kidding.
Uh-oh.
Just kidding. I'm in Los Angeles.
Shout out to LA.
Yeah.
Witness protection is in her mind.
She just might be. She in LA.
Wait, can I say
East. Harambe East, what's going on, brother?
Peace, brother. How y'all feeling?
We feeling well, man. Where you at?
Blessings. Right, I'm in Cleveland, Ohio right now.
Okay, no doubt. Shout out Cleveland.
Okay, he in the land.
All right.
Land, yup.
No doubt,
Yes,
no
sir.
doubt. Who else we got? We got Tylon Washington.
Peace, fam. How y'all doing? I'm in Brooklyn, New York City.
See, he's in the real New York. He's in Brooklyn, New York.
And he's showing you up with the mic,
real
and,
mic.
and the headset and all that.
He even got the Superman shirt on.
Wait, Brooklyn's on Long Island though.
Oh, true indeed, true indeed. He got us. He got us with that.
Good to be here. Good to be here.
Good to have y'all on, man.
Glad to have you.
Good to have y'all on, man. Yo, so I think it's a deep question. I mean, there's a lot of facets to the question. What needs to be done in order to rebuild our community? You know what I mean? And first, it's like I would like to ask the question because we got some heavy hitters on here, so we got some knowledgeable. Now I can
we can sit back. We ain't got to answer. Look, we can ask questions.
We can ask questions today.
Oh, so I don't have to talk tonight, huh?
Yeah, we ain't got to be the experts, bro, Pete.
Exactly. But nah, man, I want to ask first. I want to start first by trying to define what community really is
and what it means. Okay,
what does it mean?
Yeah, what it is, the definition, and what it means today.
You know what I'm saying? So anybody, when y'all, what y'all think community is?
Ibn had an answer. He was bobbing his head. He ready. Got
And
his shirt
so-
open.
and
Look, he got his shirt open.
I just thought it was funny. Y'all think, some of us are experts. Y'all the experts. Y'all got the platform.
We experts in finding experts.
There you go.
Me and brother Pete, we go back and forth about community because I always say that we don't have a community. We have places where Black people live, but in a community, Black, you control the police, you control who picks up the garbage. You have banking, you can feed your people, all these other kind of things that we really just don't control.
Okay.
So why is that? Why
Then
not?
there's an aggressive attack on family, which is the cornerstone of a community. The men and the women, that's another story. That's another show.
That's
probably.
No Man Monday. That's No Man Monday. We want to talk about that No Man Monday.
We kind of started from scratch in the sense, but shows like this I love where people are talking and engaging and having these very important questions about community and having a very important dialogue about how do we really achieve power. Not so much empowerment, because empowerment suggests that somebody else got to give it to you when we're going to take it.
Or control over our outcome.
That's what's up.
And you know what? You brought up a great point because, and this is one of the things that we were talking about earlier. Shout out to sister Miss Crystal. She's not on right now. Hopefully she'll be on a little bit later. But she had brought up a great point one day and on a Wealth Wednesday. And she said, how can you say you have your own community when someone else educates your children?
Exactly.
So I'm like, if you don't control your own schools, like you said, you don't control your own police. But my specific things, shout out to my man Ty's on here. I believe that's Ty the neighbor. We'll see. But if you don't control your education, the way you feed your community, and healthcare, as far as hospitals, then you really don't have a community.
Nope.
Word.
And I'll expound on that. In order to have a community, you got to have, like the young man said, you got to have a supermarket that's owned by you, education system that's owned by you, farmers that grow food that's owned by us, and then the family structure to have a community. Now, we've never had that. In America, we've never had that. I come from a place where people like me have that. But when I being from the outside looking in, if you don't have that family structure, you don't have a community, period. It's being run by something else, an entity that controls, and it's probably never been a community. What we consider a community has never happened. But can we do that? We can do that. But it starts.
I mean, we had Black Wall Street. We had not only Black Wall Street, Rosewood. We had Elaine. We had community, but they were largely attacked. And recently, the move in Philadelphia. I don't know if you guys are aware about that. I mean, every time we make advancements towards controlling our educational systems, our food, our resources and stuff, if it's not usurped, they outright destroy it.
I grew up in Tulsa, Oklahoma, went to school there, and I never knew about that Black Wall Street. I went to private school, whatever, but I didn't find out about that kind of thing till I was in college.
Wow.
And never knew it, and then when you go back and you see where it was, I used to hang out in those areas. Never knew anything about it. So that's
Bless, can I say something from
I do. I want you to say something. Go ahead.
Yay. So I just wanted to say that when I think of community, I think of relationships and relationship building. And I think that the foundation of relationships is trust. And within our community, I don't feel that there's trust in order to build anything or have anything.
Now, let me ask you a question.
And that starts with mindset.
Being where you are, Courtney, you said you live in Calabasas, right?
Yes, sir.
And you recently went out to Compton.
I did, honey.
Now, let me ask you, what did you see as a difference between the two communities? Because you got a chance to experience, Compton. I know you ain't from there, and you're not one of the boys in the hood. I definitely know that.
Well, you know what? Mad Mike.
But what did you see different as far as where you were and then where you live?
Yeah, well, first of all, everybody was Black in Compton, at least where I was. And what I really appreciated, and I said to Mike, was, wow, everybody is like supporting one another and together. And like, it felt like when I got there, I knew 3 people. However, of the 2,000 plus people who were there, all of them embraced me and everyone else. It felt like a community. Whereas here in Calabasas, it is so stiff and so plastic. And so like, I don't feel, in my own neighborhood, I live in a gated neighborhood, in my own neighborhood where it is freaking clear that I live here, people are so quick to want me to be the maid at somebody's house, or even the housekeeper, or like not even the mother of my own children, like, oh, because they have different color skin. So yeah, it's not.
And that's why I wanted to bring that up, because I noticed, and I forgot who brought it up. You said there's just, places where Black people live. I think it was Thailand, Washington. But in those places, you know what I'm saying, where a lot of people look at as like downtrodden areas and stuff like that, you'd be surprised the amount of support and just like we're talking the community that you have in these areas, the history, you know, the culture that, you know, it gets neglected. There's a lot of stuff that, you know, a lot of other things that go on there, but you know, these are things that are looked past that I think need to be built upon. But I just wanted to put that out there. Go ahead. I think Ibn or Sean had something to say.
Yeah, I was just gonna, you know, hit on that point that Tyler said about, you know, there's just a place where Black people meet. You know, everybody probably heard the saying, you know, whether you say you can or can't, they're both usually right. If we keep saying that, then the people that's in our community are going to start to believe that. The only way you start to build a community is first by taking ownership of it, right? To see that what can you do to expand, you know, and there, you know, I haven't been on the show in a while, so appreciate, you know, being back here with you, you know, phenomenal gentlemen. But I always talk about cash, right? And not CASH, but KASH. It's your knowledge, it's your attitude, it's your skills, and it's your habits. Okay. The gentleman over here, Sean, he's talking about he did not know about Black Wall Street till he was in college, and he hung up in the neighborhoods. Somebody wasn't giving him that knowledge. You see what I'm saying? And then it's the attitude. Like, we're not proud to be in our own freaking houses. You know, we're not proud to walk down our streets. I live in California now. I lived in Orange County when I first got here. And then I moved down to San Diego. I freaking hated Orange County. It was like the Truman Show. And I told my lady, I said, if I'm about to go for a run, if I'm not back in an hour, check the 7 o'clock news, because people didn't look like me. But as soon as I got on the U-Haul, I went to San Diego, they said, yo, my man, what's good? How you feeling? I was like, oh, this is my kind of spot, right? So it's about how we embrace people. I used to walk down the block, but yo, what's good? They don't say nothing. So this dude's not in my community because we can't even be friendly with each other walking down the block. Right? Why would I try to learn somebody up on something that can't even smile?
Exactly.
Like, I learned how to smile 4 years ago. I grew up in Brooklyn, in Newark, New Jersey. Nobody smiled where I was from. So I was like, they used to call me an onion when I came to California. I said, like, oh, there's layers to him. Watch out. You know, like I'm for real. I was like, yo, you start off with an F. And if I get to know you, you might come up to a C and then eventually the A. But then my friends from the South and people in California, like, what's up? How you doing? Everybody starts off with an A. So in order to build our community, we got to want to be better. And we got to take it, you know, I don't know, initiative.
I think we're on that side of where the dismantling of community started in the 50s, where they destroyed the Black family structure.
Oh, whoa, Sean.
What?
We about to go into that in just a second, brother.
Okay.
Just a second.
Sean be going ahead. Sean be jumping forward. We appreciate it now. You know, we're gonna get into that. Definitely. That's what we want to get into next. Definitely, you know what I'm saying, with the family structure and what, you know, as far as what community, how you can build it. So that being said, this is Wealth Wednesdays. It's your man Bless the Party Sparker.
It's your boy Jay the Pro.
You know what it is, y'all. This is Wealth Wednesdays, Hip Hop Zone Radio, Power357radio.com. We moving your music around the globe
and across the fader.
Check this joint out. Furious Styles.
Furious. The true Furious.
Big bar. Rest in peace, man. Furious. Buddha bless. Respect. What? Yo. Not for nothing. Niggas here ain't known for bluffing. You need more than buffing when the guards start duffing. Pants leg cuffing, cock D's, swollen muffin. Niggas getting served while they birds get stuffed and went from love to lust and got downright disgusting. Gat on my person, busting, hood rats cursing and cussing. Trying to bag my cousin nasty. You thought I wasn't? Walk with my joint cussing, I'm way past Robitussin. Bitches is burning like others. Niggas is burning with slugs and the world is turning and I never know who to be trusted. My fam is fam, but friends can buy the dozens. It's hard to separate them from foes the way they be busting. They push out they chest huffing and puffing. Niggas be busting, talking mad shit, but I don't think nothing of them. Fuck them. If you think you faster than a bullet, drop them, arrest your mans with them and say, that was my nigga, why they had to buck him. Stay on my grind and I'ma keep on trucking. Hit them honey from behind or tell them keep on trucking. When I'm spitting, niggas listen like I'm E.F. Hutton. See my best to feel fresh like E.F. Hutton. Tell Flex to be like George Dub and push the button. Drop bombs and I said I climax and start nothing. Plant seeds that sprout from concrete or problems. But you can't smoke these buds. You cough up in London. Kids gotta eat and I'm a big fat glutton. Now that's a lie. I'm starving like I'm locked in the dungeon waiting for luncheon. So skinny that my nipples are touching. Bitches say I'm well hung. I guess I'm working with something. If I stick it in, cook it, she gonna squirt when I'm pumping. Fuck with grown folk, got no time for grinding and bumping. I'm fast with ears with one hand and off no fumbling. In about 5 seconds, not the double D's from Sutton. I stay fucking when niggas walk around me mucking. When did it become cool for punk niggas to be thugging? Like this log, they just broke, they're scared of jumping. That's right, in one category, all of y'all are nothing. They the same ones with rain guns, they bloody puddles. I'd rather lay up with a bit smoking truck and cuddle and host rock something. Telling stuff those nuts like Duncan. Not a one-nighter, but by the third date I'm dumping. I'm a nasty ass nigga, do things with my tongue. Like Peter, pumpkin eater, eat that pumpkin. You don't even gotta wash. I like my pussy punching, your guts is sunken. Now I gotta go speed lunches. That nigga for a cave, dumb country bum could be jumping with my nuts and a girl mouth and she humming. Still she curled up. I call my creator when I'm coming. Now I'm ready for the world. My mind's smooth and cunning. Black on street profile beat by police punching status me. When my eyes closed, I still hear they bones crunching. Makes me want to see the beast with me.
Hey, what up? This is Boy Rick Style. Make sure you check out my post.
Hip Hop Zone Radio. This is your man, Bless the Party Sparker. What's good? Oh man, come on, Jay. You got to be. You can't be. Let's get off of mute.
It's your boy Jay the Pro. What's good?
We're gonna edit that part. Yo. So this is Wealth Wednesdays right here on Hip Hop Zone. Shout out to everybody checking us out. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about community. What's it gonna take to rebuild our community? Sean Skerritt was just speaking a little earlier, and you brought up a great point. Go ahead, brother. I'd like for you to bring that point up again.
I mean, the family structure, dismantling of the family structure has been from the beginning of time. Even in slave times, what they do, they separate the family. WS, and I use that as WS, is playing the long game. Do we blame that? No, it's what we have ingrained to believe. And the most powerful thing to rebuild a community in anywhere is the family structure, the dismantling of the family structure, where they take one of your loved ones. They got people believing in or idolizing things, monetary means, material things. It starts with mindset to rebuild the community, mindset. If we can get past that, it should be easy because we are some forgiving, loving people. Period.
Oh, and another thing we did was sacrifice the community and togetherness for isolation and monetary gain.
Exactly. That's,
you know, a lot of these families in the suburban communities, like Courtney was talking about, even in Black suburban communities, we isolate ourselves from the community, from each other, because we feel we've gotten somewhere and we can and kind of hibernate within our four walls and not get out and meet each other and get to know your neighbors.
I'm gonna tell you something
real quick. I remember we interviewed the brother. I gotta look up his name again. Oh, I apologize for forgetting the name, but he actually promoted Michael Jackson, Thriller, Sade, a bunch of real big, big names. He was in the business forever. And it was during the time when Donald Trump was running against Hillary. And we were just talking, and he said something that was really profound. He was talking about how he thinks the Black community was so much better off before integration.
I agree.
Yeah, I was about to talk about that.
He said before integration, Black people were forced to rely on each other.
Yes.
And the community was a lot stronger. After
Yeah.
integration,
Yeah, I want to talk on that because to Sean's point about Tulsa, the way I looked at that is people talked about what was happening at that time, but they didn't understand. To me, I saw the WS system was destroying generational wealth because the wealth in that city you would have businesses like Marriott hotels and industries of that size if they had not done that. And we had a lot of other small communities that were built the same way. They weren't as famous as Tulsa, but we had a lot of small communities that were operating from that same foundation. And I like you guys, when you get a chance, there is a series on called Wiley Avenue Days. It's on YouTube, and it's a 2-part series that talked about this neighborhood in Pittsburgh called Wiley Avenues. And this is where it became big because when musicians would travel from New York to Chicago, they would stop in Pittsburgh as a rest stop. So it gained some popularity and it helped to build up that community.
Okay.
And we understand that everything that they've done since civil rights is systematically, as we said, destroy the family. Let's look at why family is the foundation. Let's name some families that have generational wealth. The Rockefellers, the Waltons, the Bush family, the Kennedys. And that's why they continue to destroy our families, because to Sean's point, we need to be forced back together, because when we were together, I never knew I was poor growing up. I could go to anybody's house in the community if I needed something. So I didn't know that I was poor. But now we are rich in material, but poor in unity. Something's going to have to happen that's going to force us back together, and they're doing it now. So
I got a question, Kevin.
Yeah.
What makes the Rockefellers so special? What makes
I'm just saying that they
so
built
special?
their business on family wealth. They started off just like everybody else started off. They started off small. But they built generationally. They built wealth. It was passed to the next generation. They continue to build on that. And they keep building on that. And they do it at our expense.
I'll tell you what, Harvard was built off the backs of the slaves in the islands. And I'll tell you that for a second. The Rockefellers' wealth came from that too, sugar cane. Okay.
And that's why we need to be forced back together. The division, the divisiveness, to get your own, get the bag, all of that stuff. I mean, it's beyond repair, because as individuals, if we can't maintain our families, we can't build the community. That's why I say I think something's going to have to happen. It's going to force us to turn and look to each other again and start helping each other and working together again. I don't know if we can just declare, hey, y'all, come on, let's get back together.
But that's the thing. We together right now. We're here on Zoom talking about the topic right now.
Yeah.
Now the question is, are we going to keep talking, or are we going to take some action? That's the question. Because something.
This is action.
Here's
I'm
what
saying,
happens with the action.
Yeah.
Here's what happens with the action. We can talk, whatever, and then when the time comes for action, WS will put a crowbar in it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And it's not that, okay, I'll start by saying this. When I was in college, I did a paper on this.
So wait a second. Before let me cut you off real quick, because
Okay,
y'all
go
are
ahead.
just throwing this terminology.
WS. We
and
trying
I'm
to
the
figure
only
out.
person that
No.
know what it
No,
is.
you're not. You're not the only person.
I'll
You're not
ask.
the only person.
I'm the only dummy. Everybody else is all quiet. Like,
no.
yeah, son, I know what WS is.
No. I was thinking
White survival.
Okay,
Survival.
all right.
Okay,
all right.
thank you.
All right, thank you guys. Thank you.
There you go.
Okay.
We're a little younger than y'all.
Throwing that
You got to
alphabet
get us up
sound-
to where y'all at. You know what I'm saying?
So what I
throwing
did,
that alphabet soup out again.
so what I did was I asked 100 Black individuals, if we was to go back to Africa, would you go? So I started out with that. They said, nope, I was born here, okay, or whatever. I said, guys, let me tell you something. If every Black person in this nation or world was to go back to a place and leave them WS by themselves 5 years of existence, they would not survive.
Yeah, they would. Yeah. The economy would collapse. The society would collapse.
And I
It
say,
wouldn't take that long. It'll take 1 week.
and I tell you what,
Can I tell you what they would do?
they would push that button
They
on us.
would go to Africa too and take over the resources just like they do here. Just like
And I-
they've already done in Africa.
And that's one thing. When I went to Africa, I saw that too. And there's people with the mindset, well, they're helping us. No, they're not.
No, they're not.
No, they're not. They're not helping you.
Right.
They digging
So
down there.
can I suggest something?
I just
What's
had that
that?
conversation today.
I know we're on a forum of talking and communicating, but sometimes silence is golden. So when you see like Chinatown, they're not divulging all their secrets over the air. They're not telling all the Chinese people to do this.
Yeah, they are.
They just
They
falling
are.
together.
Yeah,
they
they
keep
are.
it quiet.
No,
They
no.
innocuous.
No, they do. They do. They had communities. They had community. Nigerians have their own communities where they get together.
No,
and they talk.
I'm not saying they don't
No,
have
hear
their
me
own
out. Hear me out.
communities.
No. Hear me out. They do talk together though. They get together in their
They
communities.
talk together.
That's what we're
They
doing.
talk together. They don't go on TV and say we're gonna boycott.
Yeah, they're not on
We're gonna do
YouTube.
this.
When have any other race
all over the air trying to be heard. And the problem with us is that we've been unheard for so long that our biggest thing is hip hop, where we want to get heard. But sometimes it's best when you do things behind the scene and not have to talk to everybody about it.
You do.
I
You
wanna-
You
I
gotta
wanna
do it
tell you
further.
this
You gotta do
real
it
quick.
secret.
What other race have benefited off of our silence? I'll wait.
Off of our silence.
Everybody but us.
Every race.
Everybody but us.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, when we speak out the wrong way. Why speak out? Let's just take action. We
That's
know
what he's saying. So y'all saying the same thing.
we have
Yeah,
to
we say the
we
same
have to do. We have to take action.
So let's say, okay, so okay, now back to the original question. This is why I am the moderator. What is that action? All right, so we was talking about, what is community? You have to have ownership. You know what I mean? Shout out to my man Ty the Neighbor just hopped on. Ty the Neighbor, you know what I'm saying, owns farmland. You know what I mean? That's a challenge in itself. You're a Black man with farmland. You know what I mean?
No doubt.
And trying to get that, get that produce, get what you're producing. Now you are a producer and not just a consumer. But how do you get that, that produce out to the different chains or to the, to the neighborhoods or the communities that should be supporting you outright?
Remember, everything that's functioning right now came from slave mines, cars, planes, even down to the cotton gin. Okay, so we have
Everything Christine is about.
we have the intelligence. This life that we live, this world that's going around, came from the Black mind. So when they try to disrupt that, there's nothing nobody else can do but us. We can do this. I have
Okay, that's what I'm saying. My thing is, okay, yeah, I understand that. We can, but ain't nobody done it yet. So check this out. What
Fear.
are we going to do? Hold up. What are we going to do? This is a solution-based show today.
Educate.
So it's going to be not, oh yeah, we can come together and we can do this and da 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 da. No, there's needs to be, this is a call to action. You know what I'm saying? What are we doing? We have to start doing, you know what I'm saying? There's a session or there's a big convention going on out here in Atlanta this weekend. You know what I'm saying? For the for the Black farmers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They're trying to work together and figure out, different ways of getting produce out. And a big thing is we don't have grocery stores.
Yeah, that's part of the problem, is that we don't have the affiliate networks for our Black farmers to have stores and the truckers to take the goods from the Black farms to the Black stores. That's what we need to start building, but we have to do it in such a way that it's not seen as disruptive, because we know when they see us doing too good, They're going to move them goalposts. They're going to change them rules. They're going to try to find some way to keep us from generating that wealth.
What you just said, Mr. Kevin, is the reason why we can't expand, because you cannot have faith and fear at the same time.
Exactly.
You have to starve fear and you have to start giving light to faith. The only reason why people are fear because they have false evidence appearing real. They don't know how to. Like we just spoke. I've been on here 45 minutes. I've heard everybody say at least once, we build something, they take it, right? Build something, they take it. The question is, how do we prevent them from taking it?
Keep it amongst us.
Okay.
Educate ourselves, and keep it amongst us.
It's not even about, it's not, education is great. Application is even better, right? The question is, how do we apply our knowledge? And how do we get it out to the people so that they can retain it to take action?
But it has to start. It has to start with your own family. You know what I mean?
That's how it was before. I mean, if I was going to start a bakery, I would go to a Black person to get my supplies. If I wanted stoves and ovens, I would find a Black person to buy that from. It was just a simple thing. We just circulated our dollars amongst each other. We didn't let our dollar leave our community. It was very simple. It wasn't nothing we were broadcasting.
So let me ask you, like you said earlier, Kevin made a great point earlier. He said, as much as I hate it, he said, we got to be forced into it. Is that the only way we're going to do it?
Yeah, because we have to be forced back together as a family, as a community. Let's face facts. Nobody fights better with their back up against the wall than us.
Exactly.
We've been doing it for the longest, and we've kept falling for the
okie doke.
I got a question.
Violent destruction of our communities by our own voluntary actions.
I got a question for everybody. When you go to the grocery store and you look at the products, have you ever seen anything being imported from Africa? I'll wait.
Unless it's an African store, no.
Only when I go to the farmer's market.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's coming from where? Mexico?
Yep.
Other places, right?
Mm-hmm.
It starts there. That is somewhere it can start. That big continent can feed the world, and it's doing
I'm just saying it don't have to be imported from Africa. What I'm talking about, it just has to be produced by us, where it's going to benefit our community rather than benefit another community. And that's where I'm saying, because when you start saying, oh, we have to buy, and you know what I'm saying, a lot of people look at that as, okay, that's a bigger thing. When you have people and you have businesses and you have products right here in your local area that are produced by Black people, you know what I'm saying, by your own community.
I said we start with education, and the force is schools, hospital. If we don't have a local hospital where in your community, it starts with school, hospital, banking system, and mindset. I think that's where you start.
I think those are the school is the biggest thing, personally.
Well, you have to break it. You have to break mindset. You have to break it down, right? Because even with schools and hospitals, you have to go smaller than that, because that's going from A to M. We have to go
smaller.
Well, then it starts
smaller.
With the bank.
It's not hard. It's not hard to start a school, though.
It starts with the bank.
No, hold on. Because the education starts in the home and what you want your kids to learn, right? And then they go and tell other people about what you teach them. You see what I'm saying? It starts there. Hospitals, you can't really you can't create a hospital overnight, right? So you have to find medicine women that are in our community that do holistic medicine. There's plenty of people like that you start with there. You see what I'm saying?
We didn't have hospitals back then either.
So real quick. Perfect thing that was brought up. I said education, y'all said bank. Which one is the easiest to start or the quickest? Something that can be done within our community.
The bank.
I already know he ready.
The bank.
The bank. You know what I mean?
I don't know.
The neighbor shaking his head. So is Ty Washington.
Here's what I would say.
Hold on. Go ahead, Ty. Tie the neighbor.
Thank
neighbor,
you.
my
No,
bad.
these are all good ideas, and they could be done. I mean, we're very great people. We're resilient. We can chew gum and tap our head at the same time. But I think before we start talking about banks and all these other places, we have to talk about mindset. Our minds are constantly under attack. And I think that when we examine like what has happened to us in a historical context, our unique history in this country, you can then start to understand white supremacy and how it affects the way we approach everything, whether we open up a bank or a school and all that other kind of stuff. It's we have to understand that we have to unravel what the brother said when how integration destroyed the black community. I was saying Bravo. He couldn't hear or see me because I was doing something Bravo, because the integration was really an infiltration into our communities and into our families just to destroy them. So we got to unravel that, because everything else we do will be doomed if we don't have, like the sister said, trust, if we don't have the elements of respect for each other, if we don't have those elements of love. And I think, let's not marginalize this forum that we're on. We got 12 intellectuals on here, intelligent brothers who are passionate, who care about what they're doing. This brother from the Hip Hop Zone is bringing this format. And it's, to me, this is just as huge as, anything, I don't know, Diddy, Jay-Z, anybody else in hip hop is doing, because we're talking real. And we really care about what we're doing. And it's not just talk. I'm quite sure that after we get off of this hip hop radio, everybody's active in their community in some way, shape, or form.
And real quick, I want to bring it up because I appreciate that, by the way, also. But it was said, we were talking about just the different things, education, and you were talking about changing your mindset. Shout out to Miss Crystal Beverly. She's on right now. She's actually, it was something that she said that sparked this whole conversation about how can you be a community with someone else teaching your kids. And I think that's the best way to change your mindset, is to control your own narrative. You know what I mean?
With education.
Especially, exactly, with education, with, what I'm saying, if you start teaching kids the truth and their honest history and a lot of different things, even if it's a different, my thing is, there's nothing that says we have to follow the same format that traditional schooling has brought.
Can I give an example
So
of
many
that?
different things. Go ahead, Jay.
Crystal come off.
All right,
Let me explain herself.
let me give an example of that. Everyone took the story of Alex Haley and Roots as their own story. There's half of our population that's in the United States are actually from here. We didn't come across on slave ships. Not everybody came across on slave ships. The first lie they tell us is that this is not our country and we came as slaves, when in actuality, we were already here when they took this over.
Exactly.
Okay. When you change
that's a big difference in our community.
That right there, when you tell kids that right there, it changes everything.
And that's what they don't want us to know.
Let
But I
Crystal
think that's
come
the
off
problem-
mute.
that's
and
the problem
Let
with the
Crystal come off mute
community, right
and
there.
explain what she was talking about.
Yeah, go ahead, Crystal. Let me get Miss Crystal on. You can come off of mute.
I'm sorry. So as the relationship relates to education and empowering our own, look, I just entering this conversation is powerful, because I think I made the statement before that no nation or community of power ever gives their children over to be educated by their known enemy or by
Their captor.
Yeah, by their captives. And so in and of that statement alone comes full responsibility for us to really create many universities in our own home, and to make sure that our children are well equipped historically, spiritually and mentally. Yes, that is our responsibility for our babies. So when they go out the door, that they are very well grounded in who and what they are. and who made them. And so there won't be any confusion about that. And so we won't be in these classrooms absorbing information and regurgitating out information that was originally designed and created by our own people. We're giving out regurgitated education and information.
Exactly.
That's the
So-
thing. That's
And-
such a
But I just want to say something real quick. I got to jump, gentlemen, and Miss Crystal. I just want to give Miss Crystal a shout out because she has been in education for over 40 years of her life, and she stepped away from the corporate to open up her own Montessori school, which they're having a grand opening in DMV area in the next, I think, couple weeks to a month, right, Miss Crystal?
Yes.
So I just want to give her flowers now, right? Because she's actually taking action in the community, you know, for actually heading the brand on that. So I just wanted to appreciate you in front of these gentlemen. You hit it right on the nail. I have to leave, but I hope you all have a blessed day. Okay.
Peace, brother. Good having you on, man.
Before we continue on, we have another educator who was in Cleveland, that's from Philly, that deals with children as far as the educational level is concerned, and he's been dealing with that same issue that Crystal is talking about consistently. You know, I'm talking about Brother Rondé East, if he come off of mute and speak to us.
We're going to introduce you in a second, right after this next break, bro. You know what I'm saying? I want to get that whole thing. Di, you had something to say real quick?
Yeah, for sure. Real quick, double back for Tylon, Jada Pro, and Miss Crystal right there. Just get your house right. Get your house in order. See, education starts at home. They can feed your kids whatever lies they want to feed them as long as your kids know that they lies when they being fed them, because then they won't digest them. You understand what I'm saying? My daughter knew from kindergarten what Thanksgiving was. So when she went to school and they taught about Thanksgiving, inside she chuckled. See, we playing what we have to do as a people. I mean, I hear the schools, I hear the banks and all that, but the one thing we can do right here, right now, today is prepare for the long game.
Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying? Prepare for the long game. That starts at home. That starts with getting your house right. That starts by stopping the microwave mentality. That starts from changing from being a reaction to an action. And then you start to build yourself. Take that loss like all other, you want to talk about Jews, Mexicans, whatever, everybody, one generation takes the loss. We the only people that for multiple generations keep taking a loss because everybody want to get ahead. No, take a step back, get your house right, train your kids that this is a long game, and then you could prepare for the real deal.
I'll tell you something real quick.
Hold on. We gotta go to break. I know y'all ready.
Let's go to break.
You know what it is, y'all. It's your boy Bless the Party Sparker.
It's your boy Jada Pro.
You know what it is, y'all. This is Wealth Wednesdays. Man, this is getting into a deep conversation. We appreciate y'all. We got one song break. We're going to be right back. Shout out to my man, Era. We got to rock this joint. This is the perfect song for this occasion. But yeah, this is Wealth Wednesdays, Hip Hop Zone Radio, power357radio.com. We moving your music around the globe.
And across the fader.
Y'all keep it locked. Day 112. Shout out to Era.
Tired. I gotta shed some light to this situation. Back home, a current tragedy my people facing. We losing lives on a daily basis. I ain't to grab and I'm guilty by association. Your skin is my skin. We don't need a blood relation. Loyalty makes you fan. Plus we all God's creation. They don't understand, so they kill us all. These ain't justified deaths. This is extermination. This is genocide outside. Bodies on the floor with their mouth wide. They ain't even see it when them shots fly. Women getting raped. They ain't even have a say. People fleeing to Sudan. They ain't even needing days, but surviving and striving is all they know. Can't believe this shit is happening all because of a vote power trip. See, Abby needs that peace prize for vote. How you get that in the first place? Politics is a joke. I do this for the vibes that's hopping fresh off the boat. And I do this shit for ice. I'm giving my people hope. Every day it's getting real, but to God people still. This is day 112, but we will prevail, nigga.
تقراي تعود تقراي تسعر تقراي عادة تقالستي تقراي عادة تعودتي مدينة تقارو لك مدينة تقعد تسرع هاي ندلي فتحي معاد هجي تقراي تعود تقراي تسعر
Lord save me, just clicked on the video of a baby drinking dirty water. Swear this war shit getting crazy, could have been my daughter. Photographs haunt me lately, so we protest harder and never let our guard up, we martyrs. Far cry hellos, I can hear the echoes. This that red and yellow, case I didn't get the memo. Let's make a chain reaction. This is more than rapping, more like a call to action. Boy, we gon' rise to freedom. Only if y'all knew about the people grieving. Cause they loved ones, knowing that they may never see them. Phones off, roads off, resources closed off, internet logged off. Politics is the reason. But we gon' die for what we believe in. So it's fuck the other side, we gon' defeat them. Everybody know Tigray is one hell of a region. Close your eyes as I pledge allegiance. TPLF, best believe we gon' step, ain't gon' stop till we won. So keep feet on their necks, ain't gon' stop till it's done. Oh, we see some respect, ain't gon' stop till they wait. Moment of silence, silence, silence.
I'm ready.
What's going on? It's your man Joe Budden, 1/4 of the slaughter. Yeah, I'm checking out the
Hip Hop Zone Radio. This is your man, Bless the Party Sparker. What's hood?
It's your boy Jada Pro. What's good?
You know what it is, y'all? This is Wealth Wednesdays right here. Hip Hop Zone Radio, Power 357radio.com. Across the fader.com. We currently broadcasting live to 106 countries. We are 127,624 IP addresses strong right now across the globe. Wow. Shout out to my man Arrow with that track 112, day 112. L track, you got to check that boy out. We were talking about building a community, what a community is, talking about education, the importance of education, different things like that. We had Miss Crystal bring up a great point, and we were going to start with the introduction of the brother Oronde East. You know what I mean? We're going to get him back on, and there he goes. You got to come off a mute for us, brother, and let us know, first of all, where you at. And I was already told you were an educator.
Well, I'm from Philadelphia. Well, I moved to Cleveland, Ohio from Philadelphia about 4 years ago.
Oh, he a Philly dude. Oh boy. Oh boy.
So
he turned his head when he said it.
So
I was a school teacher for many years in Philadelphia.
Okay.
I transitioned. I decided to leave the classroom and start my own company. So I moved to Cleveland, Ohio because some opportunities presented itself. And I started my own businesses facilitating children and youth development programs, like after school programs or programs during the school day as well. So when the sister spoke, you know, it resonated with what I'm going through myself, and knowing that our children who attend these institutions aren't really being given the information that they need to be successful. So we all know what's going on. And like you said earlier, bro, I'm solution-based because we all know the issues and the problems that's going on in the community. And a lot of times our people tend to talk about the problem more than the solution. So we don't get a chance to move forward. So I'm just listening and just, you know, a lot of intelligent brothers on the call. I'm just getting as much knowledge as I can from you brothers, and I appreciate you.
No doubt, man. Good to have you on, man. But
And sister.
Oh yes, yes. But nah, I wanted to speak on something. Shout out Diverse. You in Florida.
Yeah.
My bad.
No, I'm in Cali right now.
Oh, he in Cali. Oh, that's why it's still light outside. See,
I'm in my skin. I'm in the world. That's where I am. You never
There
know
you
where
go.
my physical is at any given time. No, I'm in Cali right now.
No doubt. And he brought up a great point, and they actually a couple people have said that, as far as, you know, start with your home. Start with your home. Teach your kids what they need to be taught. Only issue with that is it was already, you know, brought up. A lot of black homes is destroyed. You're not going to get that education.
So let's
You
build.
know-
Let's build real quick. It's starting at home. You could take that literally, or you could take that, you know, metaphorically speaking.
Okay,
Because
that's
your
what I
home-
wanted you to go into.
Your home is definitely your house, but your home is also yourself. You understand
There
what I'm
you go.
saying?
There
And
you go.
You're
Now
gonna have to build yourself / your skills. We talking about uniting as a community, because that's where we started, right? You're gonna have to build yourself and build your skills, because here's one problem that I don't know if we fully understand as a people, and that is, if you ain't 100%, whatever you giving is gonna represent that percentage that you are.
There you go.
That's what I'm talking about. That step back to build your home and build yourself. Get yourself 100. Get your kids 100. Get your partner, your spouse, whatever. Everybody got to be 100 in order to take this next step. Well, whatever you bring to the table is going to be half-assed. And we done doing shit half-assed. We done doing shit half-assed. And we got to be able to here's something else that a lot of the others, and I'll just say others, because it is multiple race, colors, creeds, and everybody that do this. You think they bring on the lackers to move forward? See, we always want to, let's bring everybody on, and nah, see, that's where you got it fucked up. It ain't about bringing everybody on. It's about bringing your upper echelon on and then letting everybody else catch up to that, be a part of that, or place them in their proper position. See, too many of us run around wanting to own a Benz and not a Benz dealership.
That's why I fucks with you, Diverse.
Hey, and to solve
Like
that
my
problem with the home being broken, right? With the home being broken, take the apprenticeships and mentorships and teach your skills to other people, right? We assume what we know, everyone else knows, right? Todd told us one time on how he had farms and he was dealing with tractors and things like that. Man, not too many people I know in my community even know anything about farming.
Exactly.
And that's the thing. That's where I was talking about with the school. Like,
You know what? They don't want to know
Crystal
about
starting,
farming, my man.
You said what?
They don't want to know.
But
They
see,
don't wanna know about
it ain't
farming.
that. It ain't that. So check this out. I'm gonna tell you. When I was in New York, there's no way in hell you could have told me I would have been good in some rural area out in Virginia called Manassas at any point in time. You know what I'm saying? And I was chilling. It's a whole different thing. They got farmers out there. I was out in South Georgia. They got black farmers out there. You know what I'm saying? My thing is, when I was in New York,
ranchers,
my whole thing was, oh, hell no. You know what I'm saying? And I wasn't even in the city. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't in the city, bro. So my thing is this: if you open up people's minds to the different things that are out there, you never know what city kid is like, yo, I'm sick of all of this concrete. I need to get to, you know what I'm saying? I would love to be out there and dealing with farms and, you know what I'm saying, learning how to tend livestock and learning how to produce and just learning all the ins and outs of all of this. But you've never been exposed to that.
And if anybody as a people, not to cut y'all, but if anybody as a people would be able to pick up on that, because knowledge is passed through your DNA, right? 2, 3 generations, 4 generations max ago, all of us was on the farm. I bet you if there was some type of program to do that for us as a people, more people would take to it and exceed in it and excel in it because it's already in your DNA.
Hey, what
like
we
that.
have, what we also have here, man, is mental distractions. And that's like he said, the Benz, want the Benz and not the dealership. Mental distractions. So it all starts, like you said, mindset and home. Home is within you. in your heart. And I'll tell you what, teaching your kids, I taught my kids, because I'm also an educator. I taught my kids outside of what they learned at school. And I'll tell you, quick story, it bounced back. My parents taught me outside of what I learned in school. So in school, when I was asked a question, and I asked the question, I got kicked out of school for asking that question. And it was about Columbus. I said, wait a minute. How can Columbus discover something that was already discovered? And they're like, you're not supposed to ask that. Wait a minute. I'm from the Caribbean. All the difference between us and people in America is we were dropped off first.
Early, yep.
That's it. And I found my lineage going all the way to South America. People were already here. So how you gonna kick me out of class? So my mom went up there, and we used to call her Little Dynamite. She said, I'm paying this much money for him to be educated. Answer his question right now.
Yo, right there. So that's the thing right there. So not only are we not producing, you know what I'm saying? And like you said, Miss Crystal, the whole reason why we're talking about this today, other people are teaching our children, you know what I mean? We don't own our own healthcare, but yet we're paying for all of this. You pay for all of this. So you pay for that education, even if it's public. You know what I mean? The free education ain't free. So my thing is the resources that we actually have, like I said, I don't know, you know, I would like to find out a little bit more about a Montessori school, starting your own school program. You know what I'm saying? Where is he at? Because I forgot the brother's name already. I think he dropped. Aronde. Yeah, Aronde might have dropped off. But as far as even, you know, starting a program in school, but yet starting your own Montessori school, just, you know, some of the ins and outs of that, because I think that's right there, that's a big step. Well, because that's going to change mindset. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, one of the things that I wanted to share was that I think in the preservation and the growth of creating the conscious, confident Black child to perpetuate being human, you know, in this existence, is to definitely make a decision to once again gain control over our educational process. Because you can look at the systems that they have out here today, they are actually warehousing the minds, not only of our children, but of all children that are subjects of this public school educational system. I see it up front firsthand. There are some good institutions out there where you can see the passion and the compassion of educators really giving substantive information and creating environments for you know, children to discover their unique genius. But there is not enough stewards who out here who are actually practicing in these classrooms what it really truly means to educate our children, and especially the Black child. And in short, right, I want to say that education means to educe from within out. See, our children don't come here empty. And one of the responsibilities that I feel that we have as parents, but also educators, is to create highly healing, stimulating, educating, stimulating environments so our children can actually discover their unique genius. And I have been witness to, like, hundreds of children over my 40 years of being in the classroom. Look, our responsibility is to not think that we have to pour something into children, that they already come here, straight from the Almighty. And they have something to give. And all we need do a lot of times is to get out of the face of children.
And observe.
Yes, freedom within.
Yo, can I ask a question real quick?
Die, real quick before you go. Go ahead, Tyler.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah. And I'm just saying before I close out on this one point, that's what the destroyers who are actually at the doors of these schools, that's what they're afraid of. Is our genius and our mastery being unleashed.
Yeah, that's super powerful.
I see it in the kindergarten classes.
I don't think they're afraid of it. I think they're harnessing it.
Yeah.
But
go ahead, Tyler. Hold on.
Thank you. Yeah, this was what the sister said is 100. Education comes from the Latin word educo, which means to bring something out of someone, and looking at education from that lens is important. But I just want to also emphasize that traditionally we think of schools. Education of schools, brick and mortar, and the place, and all this other kind of stuff. And also, education does not necessarily mean intelligence. It doesn't mean critical thinking. It doesn't mean wisdom. And I think that the earlier that we, I think, have access, and this is what it's really all about, accessing our young. And what my concern is that I could say, hey, me and my kids, we're fine, we did good, we're doing good, but we're in the community and we're only as strong as the weakest link. And I think that we got to get to a place where we stop saying each one teach one. We got to say each one has to teach 10 and 20, because your kids is also going to be in that community with the Ray Rays in them and the Tyrones. So I think it's a very challenging kind of concept to think about education in a way where some Africans, they're learning complex mathematical equations in dirt and in sand, but they're smart, and they're and being able to reach them depends on how we're able to reconceive and reimagine what education is, what it looks like. Because I spent, by the way, 15 years with the Board of the Dead. They used to call it the Board of Ed, but Abio Doom said we call it the Board of Ed. And these miseducation hubs are incredibly dangerous because it's really the theft of our intellectuals and the theft of critical thinking that is actually taking place. So that there will never be a rise of what do you call it? Critical thinking, analytical people who can really challenge the system and actually revolt, because there's a lot of things that's worthy of revolting. So I think in that mindset, when we keep saying education, because we know that gets the Oprah applause, but even reimagining what education is and what it looks like, and taking advantage of opportunities. If you're going to sit with your kids, to invite some of your kids' friends, or if you're going to have like a book, let's say a book week, where things that we used to have, and also invite because I say this word loosely because you all know my feelings on community. We don't have one, but invite family and other family members into these kinds of conversations that they don't, instead of talking about, Kanye wearing, the T-shirt that said, White Lives Matter. Something else is that their Black brains matter, and that, we need to have this conversation on reimagining, I want to say, and re-emphasize reimagining what education is and what it looks like, and come from a revolutionary kind of mindset.
One, get rid of the grade scale. One, get rid of the...
Hold on. Education has been the same as far as the format for I don't even know how long. It's been the format of, it was basically brought in through church. You know what I mean? And the church house was the schoolhouse. And somebody stood up front and taught everybody that was listening to them.
Yeah, but churches are very different today. You know, they've been brought by the FBI. I'm talking about the faith-based initiative when I say FBI.
Yeah,
and you know, where now everything is all about get money and get paper and, you know, I drive this and
I'm just
drive
talking
that
about
and
the
get that.
format of how they
But
get the education.
no, I understand you, brother. I 100.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I'm following you. I'm saying that, you know, when we look at and when I talk about specifically about reimagination, it's like, how does it take place? You know, what's the curriculum? What is your internal curriculum that's not in a book? You know, that's just in terms of saying that, you know, things aren't really going the way that they ought to be going, and that you ought to be thinking about these as your aims and goals, as opposed to even the Benz and even owning a Benz, because that's to me a capitalist construct. But to say what is going to be a revolutionary mindset that's going to in fact change the world, and in fact even save the world, and in fact even save the planet, because you got this stuff that's going on. We don't even know if, you know, a bomb is going to drop in a couple of weeks, because, you know, none of our people and kith and kin are not really in control of what's going on the global context.
But that,
So
even on that, that's, you know, with piggybacking off of that, the grade scale is what really monetizes education, right? When you have the incentive of a grade for information that you're supposed to learn, it takes away the learning, and
it's horrible.
And it puts emphasis on the grade, right? And that's where it's messed up from the root of it.
Well,
And then
one
to
of
go
the
on
things
top of
that
that, on one second, to go on top of that is the laws that was created for education. The laws is the big thing. You can't take you gotta attend school within your demographic. You can't take your child and go across town and enter them into that school because of a law that says you can't do that. You know, so
Can I interject real quick, Sean?
Yeah.
I have 4 children. Three of them I brought up in the Florida education system. Do you know Florida is one of the only states where you can do that? Actually, I'm allowed to send my kid to any school I want, and they will even bust them there. My son goes to one of the predominant IB schools in Florida right now, and my little dude has to take a 2 hour 45-minute bus ride in the morning. He gets up at 5 in the morning to go to that school, because you are allowed in Florida to do that. Now, I'm not saying Florida is great by far. We all know DeSantis got his issues, but it's also like coming from New York. I overstood that coming from New York, and that's why I transplanted, because I said, oh, I don't have to just send them to this little square right here. I could send them anywhere down there. And when that information is out there, more people can make that move, and more people can shake and bake, you know?
One thing I in my travels throughout this country and the world, I'm gonna tell you something. I'll say about Chicago. I was filming in Chicago one time, and we were talking to the people, and this guy walks up to me. He said, "Hey, what's going on?" I said, "You know, we're filming something, whatever." He told me in his whole life, he has never been downtown Chicago. Never. So they keep them in that box.
Yeah.
And what happens is that your mindset, we go back to mindset again. Your mindset is just warped.
I've seen that in a lot of areas, and that's where I think, you know, we kind of, you know, a little bit off, you know, subject as far as building our community. But
we not though, because that's part of building self and building your skills. Build yourself, start at home, build your skills, build your wealth. Take that step back. You know, you blessed, you know what type of hit that was to leave NY and go down south. But I knew me taking the loss would ensure the next generation to excel. So I did it. And now my question for you, Miss Crystal, you was talking about that Montessori school, right? And I'm not, please don't take this as me coming at you. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's okay.
But does it cost money to go there?
You know, every institution is different. And you have public school systems today now taking on, you know, the pedagogy of, you know, what they say is Montessori. You can call it developmental curriculum. I'm not trying to de-edify, you know, the Montessori society, but you can call it, you know, diverse curriculum. one of the things that I wanted to say is that, you know, when we talk about being human, you know, let me just say this, when we are not acting in accordance with the rules of the divine, you know, of our way, you know, as a people, and, you know, of course, a lot of questions are going up, like, what is our way, right?
No, but see, wait, not to cut you, but I feel like you're kind of straying from what I asked you, right?
Right.
My
No,
question,
I
want to make it real simple. Like, as a people, most of us are poor as a people. So we're forced to deal in public education because public education is free. So how do we as the elders now of our community make a school such as yours that's going to progress the forward movement of our people free, just like that public education, so that we then have a choice as to where to send our children? Because when you think of monetary, sometimes the choice all boils down to it, you can afford it or not.
Right. Okay. So again, like I said, I was going to come back to that point. You know, see, I think that, you know, look, you know, we separate ourselves from the divine. Okay. I'm not straying. I'm actually right here still in the center. And because the spokes of the wheel are all of these other many different ideas, institutions and industries. I'm saying that once you know who and what you are, you take full responsibility for yourself and yours. And so, look, it's like we are under a hypnotic spell. And like, you know, like seriously drug addicted. We see the results.
Stockholm syndrome.
The brutality that we see as a result of the inhumanity that has been perpetuated upon us as a people. And on all fronts. On all fronts. And so it's almost like the design of the destroyers can go on vacation, because we can do all the devastation ourselves better than them. So unless we connect to the internal makings of who we are, then we can come to the center again and take full responsibility for what's ours. And the other piece, it's like we are a people, we're saltwater people in fresh water. And saltwater fish, they can't survive in fresh water.
Yeah, but
Right?
okay.
Chime in on
Here we go again. You talk about devastation. Devastation
Y'all
means
gonna
to
hurt.
destroy.
Y'all gonna hate me. Y'all gonna hate me. But
Wait, nah. Hold. Devastation comes with building. When you're dealing with number 8, and we talking about equality.
Hold on to that, Doc.
That's it.
Hold on to that, Doc.
Let's get the break in.
We gotta get the break in. Yo, it's getting deep right here. I'm loving this comment. I'm listening. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm feeling it on a couple sides right now. But
growth doesn't come without pain.
All right, JJ, don't add to it, man. You know what we got to do. It's your man, Bless the Party Sparker.
It's your boy, Jay the Pro.
You know what it is, yo. We love all of y'all. Yo, it's Hip Hop Zone Wealth Wednesdays. Hip Hop Zone Radio. Power357radio.com. We moving your music around the globe.
And across the fader.
Y'all keep it locked. We'll be right back.
Important, everyone. Yo, what's up? This your boy Ice Cube, the West Coast Warlord. CrossTheFader.com. It goes down, baby. It don't stop, man. We out here in B-More, doing it big. You know what I'm saying? With my man. It goes down, baby. Y'all know what it is. Get
Out of the mercy of Allah and the law written in our nature, we call an individual into existence. And when that individual comes, I make no apologies for what I'm about to say.
True school.
Rugged and real, you're on standstill to obey your case, so let the man build. Words of rapture that you have to capture, and I just slapped ya with a handful of literature. This dope, deaf, fresh, hype, choice, smooth and raw. Rappers I replace, rub out and erase. Competition, you must be on freebase, smoking or choking, bound to be broken. Now get your damn hands off the mic that I'm choking. Cause I got a stranglehold. You're still cold on parole for the role you stole. Rhymes that you yell out, but you didn't sell out. Crossed over, lost over here, now get the hell out. I'm not a pop star, rock and roller. I'm a rebel, blessed, able to hold a mic like a hammer and drop grammar, treat a rapper like a wrestler and body slam them. Those who dispute get treated just like a prostitute. They get the boot and blade like a flute, so just play mute. Don't even whisper, open your mouth to speak and I'ma dish your ragtag and dog. Put you in the morgue because you're petty, confetti and not ready to rock steady. In other words, you're half-stepping, tiptoeing, get going. Because my weapon is not a 9, a Uzi or a shotgun. But when it comes to hype rhymes, I got one. Just like the album is still the same. Long live the cane, ain't a damn thing changed. I still get ill and kill at will and build the skill to fill your grill. So don't tell me you're real. We sample beats, you sue and try to fight us. Man, you still be home with arthritis. If we didn't revive and bring back alive old beats that we appreciated, you wouldn't survive. You'd be another memory to us. Ashes to ashes and dust to dust. So understand the way that I live, that's positive. And the message I got to give is a benefit for you and me. I'm talking about P-E-A-C-E. The chosen one that has turned the new leaf. I got gold teeth and they don't chew beef. No pork on my fork, strictly fish on my dish. The cane fallen victim, sucker you wish. I flow like water, slaughter, put you out of order. Floored ya. Rappers are ragging and tagging and snagging and bragging to be on the bandwagon. But I'm the last dragon with the knack to attract the pack. So just get back. I'm young, gifted, and black. And just go with the flow, you know. In the place to be with my man Marley Marl.
Hip Hop Zone Radio. This is your man, Bless the Party Sparker. What's good?
It's your boy Jay the Pro. What's good?
You know what it is. We're talking about wealth. This is Wealth Wednesday. Right here, we're having a deep conversation. Talking about what it takes to build our community. You've gone into so many different areas and avenues. Started talking about education.
How much it costs.
I was about to be ignorant and just say education.
Education.
I ain't do it. I ain't do it. See,
I know you too well.
I'm getting better.
Nah, don't do that. Don't shake your head, Di. We gotta still entertain. We gotta still entertain.
But nah. Conversation. Diverse was asking, and you know what I'm saying? Di asked the question again. I know you was asking about what it would take and what it would, basically for us to be able to compete as far as the people that are setting up the schools and the people, so that the people that are sending their kids to school have a free option because that public school is free. But Di, ask it right because I know I didn't.
No, it's about equality. Look, I'm not negating anything Miss Crystal said. You know what I'm saying? I come clean with you on this. I'm in a position of life where I could afford to send my kids to your school, no problem. It ain't nothing. But there was a time in my life where I couldn't afford to send my kids to a school that costs money. So I was forced into the public option. So I really, when I left New York, one of the things that I left New York was because I had to decide. The public schools my kids were in was very good from K to 5. But after 5th grade, they literally shot from a 9 school to a 4 school. So now do I pay the money You have two choices, really. Like as a parent, let's talk real, right? I have two choices. Do I pay the money and send them to private school, or do I pay the money, and move so that the private school of my new district would equivalent what they need to be in? And the third option was move out of state to a state where I could send them wherever I want to send them because those restrictions aren't on me. So like, I think it's all what, I think it's magnificent. Don't get it twisted. I think it's magnificent what you set up. But when we're talking about equality, because you was talking about devastation, the devastation that's done by our oppressors, right? And we know in simple mathematics, devastation comes with also building. They're one and the same. But that's on the 8th level. If we bring it down 2 levels to the 6th level of equality, with everything being equal, that comes before the devastation is even implanted. So how do we get to that part where equality is right and just and it exists for everybody? That's my question.
Right. So I'm just saying something foundational. All I'm saying is that if we're doing the work, if we're doing the internal work on ourselves, we're doing the work of the divine. I keep coming back to that. You will take full responsibility and not be dependent, number one, on anyone educating your child, number two. And also, the other piece is, if we are really on point, when we look in the mirror, we will see God. And the other point, if we're really on the job of educating our own, when our children look in the mirror, they will see the reflection of God.
But listen, that applies. Let me interject
Trying to get metaphysical. Hold on. I'm not trying to get metaphysical or spiritual or anything. Marion McLeod Bassoon saw an empty yard, a garage. It was empty, and she created a school out of something that she saw that's empty. We're in our own homes, which are many grounds for many universities. And all I'm saying is that
I get that, and wait. But you're preaching.
Depend on anyone educating my grandchild.
But you're preaching to the choir right now, and what you're saying in a level of totality in which we're speaking right now, that applies well and good if you haven't had a child yet, right? But you know, like I know, the divine timeline is not our timeline. So as much as you could be doing the work of the divine, you cannot be, some people aren't in the position to be able to afford to send them to a divine-like education system because they're not right yet. And that's why I said we as a generation need to take a step back and take that loss. Part of taking that loss is getting yourself right. So whether it's your unborn children or your grandchildren, it won't be a problem to send them to a place that costs a little bit of bread because you'll have that bread in place already. But if you're
real quick, before we go on with it,
children, but if you're an individual that already has children and doesn't have that money, where do you find that equality?
We might bring that for after the show.
Hey, bro, Pete, go ahead, bro, Pete.
Bro, Pete raised his hand.
He actually raised his hand. That's why we got to stop. Everybody stop. Hold on. He don't ever raise his hand.
Are y'all ready?
Yes, sir.
Put your seatbelts on. Let me know when you got your seatbelt on. Okay? Because I hear a whole lot of bullshit going on. And I'm going to be straight and to the point and exact. All right? Both of y'all, both Crystal and Diverse are right. Okay? They both saying the same thing, arguing the same point. The point is, you have to stop the bullshit as Black people, as Black men and Black women, Black mothers and fathers. You need to stop the bullshit and be responsible for your fucking actions. You are not responsible enough to teach your children. What the hell do you expect for them to do or expect for them to be? You sit back and you let somebody else tell your child that George Washington never told a lie. That's some bullshit right there. He was in politics. They don't do nothing but lie. you know? So, I mean, come on with it. I mean, let's get real. I mean,
Nah.
we sit up here and we want to blame the educational system. That ain't the educational system's fault. It's our goddamn fault because we are not responsible enough to pull our children in the house, into their room, and sit with them for the next 3 or 4 hours that it takes to educate them properly and give them a sense of character.
I want to jump in here on this because in the DMV, very diverse area. So I work with a lot of different people, Indians, Pakistanis, Africans, Hispanics. And I'm gonna use the Hispanics as an example because they talked about how the Hispanics are now the 5th largest economy in the world, just the ones here in America. Here's where they keep using education to keep pushing us further back because you don't hear no other groups talk about education like we do, but they emphasize it as a supplement. Because the most important lessons come in that home are the cultural traditions of that culture. That's what comes first.
Yeah.
This system, that's secondary. Of course, they tell the kids, go to school, get good grades. But the focus, when these people are coming to this country, the focus is on that man and that woman starting a business because they realize we need money.
But that's the key point, brother. Not to cut you.
Let me finish this. There's an area up here in out in Maryland, the suburb of DC, where when Jamaicans was in it, it was overran with drugs. The Hispanics started moving in slowly but surely, and they started off with one business. It took them 20 or 30 years, but now they have a whole community that's flourishing. And I rode down the street the other day, and I saw now, we were talking about hospitals and things, but guess what they started with for their hospital? An urgent care center. But they took the time.
That's how you build a community.
We have to stop focusing on the education of the children. We got to start focusing on putting the adults in position to produce businesses, incomes.
We got to be responsible enough.
But wait,
to be able to
I
do
said that.
they
Look, I said that. I said that at the beginning of my rant. Get your house right, build yourself, get your skills right. Right? Wait. But you made a very valid point that he's not touching on, bro, Pete. And he said that man and woman started a business, but you dealing with a community that don't have a man and woman at home.
But guess what? A lot of times what has happened, and that's why I told everyone, watch Wally Avenue Days. The community I was born into, the men went about the business of being men. And we were talking about we can't just let anybody in. The good woman came in and they contributed and they helped build. The women that wasn't about nothing couldn't hang because the women who was about something wouldn't let no bum women come in, and the men didn't let no bum men come in. You had to come in contributing and building and moving forward constructively to build the entire community. If you was coming in there dealing drugs and doing all that, you was ostracized. Don't come in here with that. You go somewhere else with that. We can do that again, but we have to focus. We have to stop focusing so much on the educational system because remember, they don't use the educational system for us as they do everyone else. They use it to indoctrinate us, to divide and dispense and disperse us. They don't mind, just like when the Afghanis that they brought into this country. I read an article about there was one Afghan person from Afghanistan. They sent him up to Pittsburgh. And there was one Afghanistan person in Pittsburgh who reached out to them, brought them into their house, started reaching out to social groups and organizations. So now what they're doing, these two people from Afghanistan are doing is they're building their own support groups and communities for other people from Afghanistan to come there. But we know that they will do that for them and allow them to stay together. We also know that if we try to get them to help us to do something, they're going to use it to tear us apart. That's why it's so important that we have to have a financial and economic base that gives us the type of power that they can't disrupt because we know they ain't going to be dropping bombs on us no more.
Yeah, but before we even get to a financial and economic, before we can even get to a financial and economical base, we have to do what all those people you was talking about, brother, done. And that's know thyself and love thyself. See, there's multiple levels that they destroy us. Education is just one of them. That's what I'm talking about. Education is just one of them.
And what they also do, they have built their communities and they don't live in ghettos. They might live in poor areas, but they're not ghettos. But I work with security guards, landscapers, some of them are maids, but they live in 4 and 5 bedroom house out in the suburbs. Working jobs that we don't want.
really
takes-
quick. Let
real
me
quick,
touch on
real
this because me and Tylon was talking. Tylon mentioned this earlier.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And school, this is what I was talking about, reimagining, and he said something about reimagining education. School doesn't necessarily have to be just about learning mathematics, and it can be learning your culture. And that's the part that we don't have. So that's where I brought all of this out as far as
'Cause it shouldn't solely be.
how are
It
you
shouldn't
letting,
solely be.
hold on. How are you letting,
Right.
someone else teach your kids? That's where you get a loss of your culture.
But
Like
that's why
I
I
said,
think-
that is the strongest part, where education is actually supplemental.
Right.
But it's not, it doesn't have to be, it's a part of it, but there's a part of it that is primary, where in this community, if we are teaching our kids and we are accurately, showing our culture and our history, you know what I'm saying? That's going to put them ahead.
But that comes in the home. That comes in the home.
Okay. I think I understand, everyone's point, but I think we never really answered diverse question. And I've been really listening very closely.
Me too. I was waiting for that.
And he made some very, very valid points that for some reason, it seems like our eyes glaze over, that we just kind of skip over. And I wonder why that is. And I just have a theory as to why that is. And I think that much too often we go for the low hanging fruit. It's very easy to blame the victims of oppression. It's very easy to say, if only we just did this in the house, if only they pull up their pants, if only they did this, without looking at what Diverse alluded to, is that there is an entire system that was not designed to empower us. In fact, it's a system that we continue to ignore, that disrupts our family, which is the basis of community, which is the basis of wealth. And so that causes us to say, wait a minute, we got to reimagine. And I think it's a false argument to talk about Pakistanis and Mexicans and other groups that come in that's really designed to water down and destroy the Black family and ignore us from getting reparations. But wealth, you ever notice that we got money for like Jordan sneakers? There's a lot of money in our community. The issue is not money. We have to go back to mindset. The issue is in access. It's about what is education and then what is wealth. Because if we keep saying wealth is these cars and all this silly shit, as opposed to really looking at our wealth as kindness and integrity, humility, these things that don't cost a dime. It's about sacrifice, like Diverse sacrificed to move from New York City. Hello?
Yeah, I say you made me feel bad now.
No, I'm just saying, his capacity of love was great, because he said, I have to sacrifice. I might want to be here in New York with all this other kind of stuff, but that's what I'm talking about when I talk about reimagine. Some of the best education that I got was in the Cipher Circle with all the guides, letting knowledge be born. It's when you talk about, education, you got a lot of educated dumbasses. And you have a lot of people with degrees, and they will never lift a finger to empower the Black community, period. Matter of fact, they will work in the interests of destroying our education. Or I would say, what I would like to move towards more is like having an intelligence kind of like a program, because, honestly, education is a commodity. There's more information in this cell phone, in today's world, right, that you can download and get. You really don't even, teachers are obsolete. They're becoming huge daycare centers, because what I said is that this place where we have to start thinking and refocusing and repurposing what, education was, and each one teach 10, teach 20, teach 30, because this problem is getting big, and we have to look at why we are in the situation that we're in. And it's not happenstance. It's not because we're deficient, brothers and sisters. It's not because we just got to just do this and that, and we ain't doing this and we ain't doing that. I'm amazed from the level of attacks that we have endured, that we're not obsolete, that we're not out of here. It's just because of our true brilliance and resiliency that we're not utterly, destroyed. But the reality is that, what Diverse was mentioning and alluded to is a capitalist construct that acts as a vice around the necks and the throats of a lot of our kith and kin, our young people, that chokes out every opportunity, or which leads us or leads us to having to go into their systems, because the mother and father, and now even the economy is such with the gas price that even the kids, as soon as they get old enough to pack some bags, better go down to that grocery store and start working if you want to live in a decent community. if you want them to go into a halfway decent school. So,
Listen,
you know,
that system is what keeps us from assimilation, right? Assimilation is what brings all other immigrants here for the land of milk and honey, right? But assimilation is the hardest thing to do when you are physically pinpointed as not those. Why do you think the Italians, the Irish, all of them can come here and assimilate? You know what I'm saying? We can't do that. Our skin color, our melanin does not allow us to assimilate. And we are the only people that will solely look upon others and allow them to educate our youth.
Can I say something?
After everything we've been through.
Let me get this in real quick. Let me get this in real quick, Rondé. But that's the point I'm trying to make. These other people, they don't assimilate. They maintain certain cultural values that allow them to use the system and not depend on it. Their cultural values override everything. They take that education and they use it, and that's why they use it to build businesses. And they start off small. And even though those kids are going to school, when those kids get off from school, those kids are going into those businesses and they're learning even more skills as far as learning how to run a business, learning how to do just small, simple things.
But Brother Clark, that doesn't account for our unique history, once again, in that equation, that we have done this. I mean, remember Rosewood? Remember Black Wall Street, what we're talking about? Remember Harlem? Is that we've had institutions and we've had all of the hospitals. I mean, come on, sheriffs. Anything that we can't, when we do it, it becomes, it gets attacked. And it's undermined. So these other groups, they're pawns. They don't realize it. And I know a lot of times we don't either. But the globe holders, they get it. That's why it's divide and conquer. They want us to feel like, all the Mexicans are coming in. That's a threat. They're taking jobs that we don't really want, or not going to do. But what it is that their countries have been made so poor that the crumbs of the table. And remember, they have their culture still intact. They weren't shipped here 400 years, beaten, raped, mutilated, and bombed out. Our history is very unique, and we undergird that when we sometimes do these false kind of comparisons. Like, look at what the Jews did, and look at all the other people groups did. They weren't brought here in the same way that we were. We were brought here as a commodity, and we still are.
They also have, like, assimilated on their own terms. Don't think they don't assimilate. They assimilate into the culture. They in corporate America, they do whatever they want because their color allows them to do that. Now,
Absolutely.
when they go home, what they do, they might eat an Italian meal. Yeah, they might have, a bat mitzvah, but when they're in the mix of it, they're allowed to blend. That form of assimilation, they're allowed to blend, and we have never been allowed to blend. Not ever one day. Right. You tell me when we have, and I'll fall back. I'll fall off the
Here's what I mean when I say they don't assimilate. You don't see a Chinese man going to a Arab man's store and doing business or buying anything for his business.
Exactly.
He's going to a Chinese man to buy what he needs for his business.
But brother Clark, why is that? Why is that?
Because they're
let me ask. No, let me just ask the question.
Whoa. That's why I said that they use the education system as a supplement. Culturally, they know if I'm going to do business with somebody, I'm going to do business with someone of my own kind, unless there is no one of my own kind to do business with. But if I'm going to open up a bakery and I know Brother Ty is a farmer, I want to find a way to do business with him.
So we go back to the foundation of this conversation. How do we build our community?
Let me say this.
Wait. It starts with family.
Yep.
The culture.
Period.
I was going to say that I think we all agree that it's going to take Black men to save Black boys.
Exactly.
Nobody else can do it, as we already know. Most of the teachers in the public school system are white women. We know white men are not investing in the energy in saving Black boys, so it's going to take us. So I want to ask you, brother, how many are you brothers mentors to anybody that's not a young man that may not be a family member or a son or a nephew or something like that?
I've done that.
I don't know if you can see this. I was mentor of the year 2016-17, acknowledged by Barack Obama by Mentors Inc. So I'm still mentoring. I'm a success mentor. I volunteer. I'm quite sure everybody on this thing do it. But
I'm glad you do that, bro.
Yeah.
Because I see that as a solution to the problem that we face in our communities. As we already know, the majority of the young men grow up in single parent households headed by mom. And most of them whose father isn't around don't have any Black mentorship other than.
Why it takes a village to raise everybody.
Hey,
It takes a
Aronde.
village.
Now, so what I'm saying is that even for the friends that we have and every Black man that we know, if they don't have a mentee in the community, they need to have one. And I'm not talking about a kid that we just know we call up and check up on every now and then, but a young man that we track the progress of. In terms of having a relationship with his family, having a relationship with the school administration and faculty, and making sure that he's on the right track towards success. Now, if every Black man made a concerted effort to do this for a Black boy in the community, we'll begin to see change.
Yep.
And I noticed that like when I meet with brothers and we have discussions similar to ones we having right now, that's all it really be, is a lot of discussion. But we don't really organize under the same umbrella, meaning that we really are members and we are accountable to one another and making sure that business get handled at a particular time. We convene at certain times and really about that work. So I'm not this is a beautiful thing and I'm learning a lot from you brothers. I just wanted to express that.
He want to say basically, look, this is what the point is. Because all that other stuff we talking about is great, but like we was talking earlier, solution-based solution.
There you go.
Bang, drop the mic, Aronde. My man said, look, this is
Can I talk about a solution?
Hold up before you do,
I think we need to have something set up, like we said. Let's get that. You know what I'm saying? That's not something that needs to be skirted over. You know what I'm saying? That's something that everybody needs to look at as far as mentorship. You can do that with the schools. You can do that through, local boys and girls clubs.
And you can do that by going out and talking to the kids in your neighborhood.
Exactly.
It's kids that walk around all day long that we pass that watch us and observe how we move and how we get down, and we don't talk to them. I do. I talk to the kids.
Why I gotta only be kids though? There's a lot of adults
because
there's a lot of adults out here that need mentorship too, so that they can raise their kids right.
And that's accountability.
You asked the question though, but you asked the question. The reason why you go to the kids first is because you get to the kids, you can get to the adults. Exactly. You can get to their parents. You can get to them because they go inside and say, "Hey, mommy, that guy just talked to me," right? So now she comes out, or her man comes out, and now he wants to talk to you and see what you know. There it goes, right there. You got to start with the kids first.
And we have that in the community.
Fellas, we got a great conversation going on. And before we forget and before Bless forgets, we want to invite y'all to the after party. So after the show, stick around. Don't go nowhere.
After the show, it's the after party.
And after the party, it's the after party.
Also, I want to let y'all know, whoever wants to join in, we got No Man Monday coming up every Monday, same time, same channel. But we about to end this joint. It's your man Bless the Party Sparker.
It's your boy Jada Pro.
You know what it is, y'all. If you're trying to stay on, if you want to get on the Zoom, get on Zoom. We got, you know what I'm saying, a little bit more creative conversation going on. Oh, it's deep. We're talking about community. It's Wealth Wednesdays, Hip Hop Zone Radio, Power357radio.com. We move your music around the globe.
And across the fader.
We out, y'all. Peace.
We talking about community. I'm watching Snowfall.
Are we off the air?
We off here.
All right, y'all. It's a free fall. Go for what you know.
And I'm hungry.
Now, what the hell were you talking about, Kevin?
Hey guys, listen. We don't have anything to plug these young men into. These people from these other communities that have small businesses and things like that, a lot of their kids, when they leave school, they go on to work in the family business. This also gives them more cultural awareness because you're working with your brothers, your cousins, your uncles. Mom and dad started this business. Okay? Aunt or uncle started this business. So they have something to plug these kids into. We want to keep pushing them off on community centers and mentors and all this. No, we trying to get our family back together. And most generational wealth starts with a family, a man and a woman who came together and started building a business from scratch, and they taught those skills to other members of the family. You hire the good members of the family that you know want to work, but you may have a member of the family who says, hey, Dad, no, Dad, I'm gonna go on off to college. Okay, fine, you got a business. You can have a son go off to college, and he's going to become even more educated and better able to build a bit better business.
Okay, Kevin,
let's go ahead
Kevin,
too. You can't let the drunk uncle work at your store. You just
Right.
can't.
That's
Just
what I'm
because he's a drunk
saying. You
uncle.
don't let him work in the store. No.
Right.
Check
But-
it out. He work in the store. I'm talking about you want the people that want to work in the store
Nah,
to
I
work
hear
in the
you.
store.
And
You know
that-
what,
to
I-
your point right there, I ain't got nothing to say. I'm with you all day on that.
But what I want to say, right, like, is, matter of fact, I don't want to say anything. Let me just ask some questions, because I